Life often brings moments of unease, shadows of fear that dim our light. We feel trapped by worry, held back by unseen chains. Yet, deep within you lies immense power, a calm strength waiting to be discovered. This ancient wisdom journey guides you to reclaim your mind, transform daily habits, and find lasting inner peace. You can move beyond the grip of fear. It is time to master your mind and live freely. Lesson 1. Challenge fear-driven thought patterns. Fear often begins as a subtle whisper in the mind, growing louder until it feels like an undeniable truth. Many of these fearful thoughts are not facts, but rather interpretations, stories we tell ourselves about potential future events or past experiences. They are like clouds passing in the sky, transient and ever-changing, yet we often mistake them for the sky itself. To truly overcome anxiety, the first crucial step is to learn to observe these thought patterns without immediately believing them. Notice when a thought arises that brings a tightening sensation, a racing heart, or a sense of dread. Instead of getting caught in its narrative, simply acknowledge its presence. You might say to yourself, there's a thought about what might go wrong, or this is a familiar worry about the future. This simple act of observation creates a vital space between you and the thought. It allows you to recognize that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them. This awareness is your inherent power. It frees you from the automatic reaction to fear. Consider how often a fearful scenario you imagined never actually happened, or how situations you dreaded turned out to be far less daunting than anticipated. This is evidence that your mind, left unchecked, can create compelling illusions. The wise teachings emphasize understanding the mind's nature. It is a tool, not a master. When you learn to challenge a fear-driven thought, you are essentially asking, is this truly real right now? Or is it just a story my mind is creating? Questioning the validity of these thoughts begins to dismantle their power. It's like pulling threads from a tightly woven fabric. Eventually, the whole structure loosens. Practice this discernment daily. When a fear arises, pause, breathe. Ask yourself if this thought serves your well-being, or if it's merely a pattern of worry. By consistently challenging these patterns, you begin to rewrite the script of your inner world, replacing fear with clarity and calm. You start to see that many of your anxieties are rooted in stories, not in the present moment's reality. This practice is foundational to cultivating a mind that supports peace. Lesson 2. Embrace the power of the present moment. Anxiety often pulls us away from the now, either dragging us into regrets of the past or propelling us into worries about the uncertain future. Our minds become restless time travelers, rarely settling in the only moment that truly exists, this one. The teachings emphasize that true peace and freedom from suffering are found by anchoring ourselves firmly in the present. When your mind is fully engaged with what is happening right here, right now, there is little room for the mental chatter that fuels anxiety. The past is gone, and the future has not yet arrived. The only place you have power, the only place you can experience life, is in this unfolding second. This is not about ignoring life's responsibilities or complexities. It is about approaching them from a place of grounded awareness rather than frantic anticipation. To embrace the present, start by consciously engaging your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel in this very moment? If you are drinking water, truly feel the cool liquid. Notice its taste. Hear the slight gurgle as you swallow. If you are walking, feel your feet connect with the ground. Notice the swing of your arms. Observe the colors around you. These simple acts bring your attention out of your head and into your direct experience. They anchor your awareness to what is tangible and real. When a worry about the future or a regret from the past arises, gently acknowledge it, but then consciously redirect your attention back to the present. You might say, "That's a thought about tomorrow, but right now, I am simply breathing." Or, not to memory, but I am here, washing dishes. This gentle redirection is not repression. It is a skillful cultivation of focused attention. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to remain calm and centered amidst life's storms. It teaches you that true security is not found in controlling external circumstances, but in mastering your inner landscape. Living in the now is a continuous journey, each moment offering a fresh opportunity to return home to yourself. This steadfast presence dissolves the very ground upon which anxiety stands, leading to profound inner stillness. Lesson 3. Cultivate empowering daily habits. Our lives are largely shaped by the small, consistent actions we repeat each day. These are not grand gestures, but the quiet rituals that define our experience. If our habits are chaotic or reactive, our inner world often reflects that disarray. Conversely, if we consciously cultivate habits that support well-being, our inner peace naturally blossoms. Ancient wisdom traditions teach the importance of disciplined practice, not as a rigid rule, but as a gentle training for the mind and body. It is about creating a supportive structure for your inner life to flourish. Start by identifying 1 or 2 small habits that could profoundly impact your sense of calm. Perhaps it is waking up 5 minutes earlier for quiet reflection, or spending a few moments each day acknowledging things you appreciate. Maybe it's a short walk in nature, or simply dedicating specific time for deep, conscious breathing. The key is consistency, not intensity. A tiny effort, repeated daily, builds momentum far greater than sporadic, intense bursts. These empowering habits act as anchors in your day, providing moments of intentional calm and self-care. They remind you that you have agency over your internal state, regardless of external circumstances. For instance, committing to a simple morning routine can set a positive tone for the entire day. Instead of immediately checking emails or social media, dedicate the first few minutes to a quiet contemplation, setting an intention for kindness, or simply feeling gratitude for another day. Similarly, an evening ritual of gentle stretching or journaling can help release the day's stresses, preparing your mind for restful sleep. The beauty of these habits lies in their cumulative effect. Each small act of self-care reinforces your commitment to your well-being. It's like planting seeds. Each day you water them, and eventually, a strong, resilient garden emerges. These daily practices are not burdens. They are acts of love for yourself. They gradually rewire your brain, fostering new pathways of peace and resilience. By consciously choosing and consistently practicing empowering habits, you are actively building a foundation for a life less dominated by anxiety and more filled with purpose and tranquility. This ongoing commitment transforms your daily existence. Lesson 4. Practice mindful breathing for calm. The breath is an extraordinary tool, always available to us, always in the present moment. It is deeply intertwined with our emotional and mental states. When we are anxious, our breathing often becomes shallow, rapid, and held. Conversely, when we are calm, our breath is typically deep, slow, and flowing. The spiritual practices teach us that by consciously regulating our breath, we can directly influence our nervous system, shifting from a state of fight or flight to one of rest and digest. This is not just a theory, it is a physiological reality. Engaging with your breath mindfully is one of the most immediate and accessible ways to find calm amidst chaos. It acts as an anchor, pulling your scattered attention back to your body and the present moment. To begin this practice, find a comfortable position, whether sitting or lying down. Gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. Bring your attention to the sensation of your breath. Notice the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then gently leaving your body. Don't try to change your breath initially. Just observe it as it is. Feel the rise and fall of your abdomen or chest. As you become more familiar with the natural rhythm, you can gently begin to deepen and slow each inhalation and exhalation. Try counting. Inhale slowly to a count of 4, hold for a count of 1 or 2, and exhale slowly to a count of 4 or 5. Or simply focus on making your exhales slightly longer than your inhales, which signals to your nervous system that it's safe to relax. Practice this for just a few minutes each day, especially when you feel a wave of anxiety beginning to form. You don't need a special environment or equipment. This powerful tool is always within you. Even a few conscious breaths can create a noticeable shift in your state. Regular practice builds a stronger connection to your breath, allowing you to access this inner calm more readily when life becomes challenging. This ancient technique is a direct pathway to inner peace, a constant source of tranquility available with every inhale and exhale. Lesson 5. Nurture self-compassion daily. Often, when we face difficulties or experience anxiety, our inner voice becomes harsh and critical. We might blame ourselves, judge our feelings, or tell ourselves we are not good enough. This self-criticism only intensifies suffering, creating a cycle of shame and fear. The principles of the path to awakening teach the profound importance of self-compassion. This is not self-pity or an excuse for inaction, but rather an active process of treating yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and acceptance you would offer to a dear friend who is struggling. It acknowledges that suffering is a universal human experience, and that you, like everyone else, deserve comfort and care. When you approach yourself with compassion, you create a safe inner space where healing can begin. To practice self-compassion, start by recognizing moments of difficulty. When you feel anxious, overwhelmed, or disappointed, consciously pause. Instead of immediately falling into self-judgment, acknowledge the pain. You might place a hand over your heart as a gentle physical gesture of care. Then, offer yourself words of kindness. Something like, "This is really hard right now," or "It's okay to feel this way," or "May I be kind to myself in this moment." Remind yourself that imperfection is part of being human. Everyone experiences fear, doubt, and moments of weakness. You are not alone in your struggles. This recognition of shared humanity helps to alleviate feelings of isolation and inadequacy. Self-compassion also involves actively comforting yourself. What would bring you ease in this moment? Perhaps a warm drink, a quiet space, a gentle stretch, or listening to calming music. These are not indulgences, but essential acts of self-care that replenish your emotional reserves. By consistently nurturing self-compassion, you build an inner sanctuary of resilience. You learn to be your own best friend, offering support and understanding rather than judgment. This inner kindness empowers you to face challenges with greater strength and grace, transforming fear into a pathway for deeper self-acceptance and peace. It is a powerful antidote to anxiety's grip. Lesson 6. Identify and address anxiety triggers. To effectively navigate anxiety, it is immensely helpful to understand what tends to activate it. Just as a physical allergy is triggered by specific substances, emotional reactions often have specific triggers. These can be external events, like certain social situations, work pressures, or news headlines, or they can be internal, such as specific thoughts, memories, or even physical sensations. The wisdom tradition encourages mindful awareness, observing your experiences without judgment. This involves becoming a curious investigator of your own mind and reactions. When you feel anxiety beginning to rise, instead of immediately trying to push it away, pause and ask yourself, what just happened? What thought did I just have? What situation am I in right now? This simple inquiry helps you connect the dots between external stimuli or internal states and your anxious response. Keep a mental note or even a simple journal of these patterns. You might notice, for example, that your anxiety consistently spikes after consuming too much caffeine, or after scrolling through social media, or when you anticipate a difficult conversation. Perhaps certain environments, sounds, or even times of day consistently bring unease. There is no need to judge these observations. Simply gather information. Once you identify a trigger, you gain the power to address it. Sometimes, addressing a trigger means making a conscious choice to avoid it, if that is healthy and feasible. For example, if certain news sources consistently provoke fear, you might limit your exposure. Other times, triggers cannot be avoided, and in these cases, knowing your triggers allows you to prepare. If a certain social event always makes you nervous, you can plan coping strategies in advance, practicing mindful breathing before you go, setting a time limit for your attendance, or having a few calming phrases ready. This proactive approach transforms you from a victim of your reactions into an active participant in your well-being. By understanding your triggers, you empower yourself to respond with intention rather than simply reacting out of habit. This understanding is a crucial step towards reclaiming your inner peace and building resilience against anxiety's pull. Lesson 7. Take intentional action despite fear. Fear often paralyzes us, convincing us that the safest course is to do nothing, to retreat from challenges, or to avoid anything that might cause discomfort. This avoidance, while offering temporary relief, ultimately reinforces the fear, making it seem larger and more formidable. The profound teachings emphasize the importance of taking intentional action, even when fear is present. This is not about being reckless or ignoring legitimate dangers. It is about understanding that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. Each small, deliberate step you take in the face of anxiety chips away at its power. It proves to your mind that you are capable, that the feared outcome is not inevitable, and that you can tolerate discomfort. Start small. Identify one area where fear is holding you back. Perhaps it is making a phone call, starting a new project, or trying a new activity. Break this larger action down into the tiniest possible steps. If calling someone makes you anxious, the first step might just be opening your phone's contact list. The next might be looking at their name. The next might be pressing the call button. You don't have to conquer the entire mountain in one leap. Focus only on the very next, smallest step. As you take that step, acknowledge your fear, but do not let it dictate your behavior. Breathe through the discomfort. Remind yourself that discomfort is not danger. This practice is like building a muscle. Each repetition strengthens your capacity for courage. Over time, these small acts of bravery accumulate, building self-trust and confidence. You begin to experience firsthand that the anxiety often subsides once you take action, or that you are more capable of handling the outcome than you previously believed. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate fear before acting. The goal is to act with fear as a companion, understanding that its presence does not define your capabilities. This commitment to intentional action is a powerful way to reclaim your life from the grip of anxiety, empowering you to live more fully and freely. Lesson 8. Reframe setbacks as opportunities for growth. Life is a continuous unfolding, filled with both triumphs and challenges. When we encounter difficulties, failures, or moments of deep disappointment, it is easy to succumb to feelings of despair, self-blame, or a sense that everything is falling apart. However, the path to awakening offers a profound shift in perspective, viewing setbacks not as roadblocks, but as valuable opportunities for learning and growth. This reframing is a powerful antidote to anxiety, which often thrives on the fear of failure and the desire for constant perfection. Instead of seeing a missed goal or a difficult situation as an ending, consider it a redirection, a moment ripe with potential for deeper understanding and resilience. Every experience, pleasant or unpleasant, carries a lesson. When faced with a setback, pause and resist the immediate urge to criticize yourself or dwell on what wrong. Instead, adopt the mindset of a compassionate investigator. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? What wisdom can I gain? Did this experience reveal a hidden strength I possess? Did it highlight an area where I can develop more patience, compassion, or skill? For example, if a project doesn't go as planned, instead of thinking, I failed, you might reframe it as, this project taught me the importance of better planning, or this showed me where I need to ask for help. This perspective transformation shifts your focus from blame to betterment. It allows you to extract valuable insights from difficult experiences, turning them into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. This approach also fosters a remarkable sense of resilience. If you view every challenge as a potential teacher, you become less afraid of making mistakes or encountering difficulties. You understand that these moments are not punishments, but integral parts of your journey toward greater wisdom and understanding. Embracing this perspective allows you to move through life with a sense of equanimity, knowing that whatever arises, you have the capacity to learn, adapt, and grow. This transforms the fear of failure into an eager anticipation of new lessons, fostering genuine inner strength. Lesson 9. Establish healthy boundaries for inner peace. In our interconnected world, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the demands and expectations of others, often at the expense of our own well-being. A lack of clear boundaries can lead to feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and chronic anxiety. Spiritual wisdom teaches the importance of protecting your energy, time, and emotional space, not out of selfishness, but as an essential act of self-care that allows you to show up more fully for yourself and others. Healthy boundaries are not walls that isolate you. They are respectful guidelines that define what you are and are not willing to accept, and where your responsibilities end and another's begin. They are an expression of self-respect and a commitment to your inner peace. To establish healthy boundaries, begin by cultivating self-awareness. What drains your energy? What makes you feel overwhelmed or resentful? Is it constantly saying yes to requests when you're already stretched thin? Is it engaging in conversations that leave you feeling depleted? Once you identify these patterns, you can begin to make conscious choices. Learning to say no graciously is a powerful skill. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you are accustomed to always accommodating others. However, remember that saying no to one thing often means saying yes to your own well-being, to rest, or to commitments that truly matter to you. Boundaries also extend to your time and digital consumption. Setting specific times for work, for personal reflection, or for unplugging from technology can significantly reduce mental clutter and stress. Communicate your boundaries clearly and calmly. You don't need to over-explain or apologize. A simple, I'm not able to take that on right now, or I need to prioritize my quiet time, is often sufficient. Remember that some people might initially resist your boundaries, but consistent, respectful enforcement will ultimately lead to greater respect for your needs. By establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries, you create a sanctuary for your inner peace, reducing external pressures and allowing you to live with greater integrity and tranquility. This practice empowers you to navigate relationships and demands with confidence. Lesson 10. Commit to consistent practice and patience. The journey toward overcoming anxiety and cultivating inner peace is not a destination to be reached quickly, but a continuous path of practice and discovery. There will be days when you feel clear and calm, and days when old patterns of fear and worry resurface. This is entirely normal and part of the human experience. The ancient teachings emphasize the virtues of consistent effort and unwavering patience. Just as a gardener tends to a plant daily, providing water and light, we must consistently nurture our inner landscape. A single meditation session or one mindful breath will not magically erase years of ingrained habits. It is the steady, gentle repetition of these practices that gradually transforms the mind and heart. Commit to integrating these lessons into your daily life, even in small ways. 5 minutes of mindful breathing is more effective than an hour once a month. A few conscious steps taken, despite fear, build more resilience than waiting for fear to disappear entirely. Understand that progress is rarely linear. You might take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Do not judge these moments of regression. Instead, meet them with self-compassion. Remind yourself that you are human, and gently redirect your attention back to your chosen practices. Patience is key. The mind has been conditioned over many years, and it takes time and persistent effort to reshape its patterns. Celebrate the small victories, the moments when you pause instead of reacting, when you choose kindness over self-criticism, when you take one intentional step. These seemingly small shifts are profound indicators of true transformation. Trust the process. The seeds of peace you are planting through your consistent practice will eventually blossom into a profound and lasting inner calm. This path is one of lifelong learning and gentle persistence. Embrace the journey with an open heart, knowing that each moment is an opportunity to deepen your peace and strengthen your resolve. Your commitment to consistent practice is your greatest ally in building a life free from the overwhelming grip of fear, filled instead with profound tranquility.